So, happily we have another testimony this morning. She's a bit shy person, but I'm sure that she has a very interesting story to share with us. So, with a warm welcome, let's hear our sister Victoria Wireko. Yeah, thank you.
It was in December 2019 when I felt it's time to stop procrastinating and start considering seriously what aspect of my life I should be sharing in my testimony. I prayed to God to help me. I believe it was a week or two later I had a dream. We don't have time here for the details, but I believe that dream showed me where to start in my journey towards baptism. My name is Victoria Wireko. My parents were both born and raised in Ghana. When my Baptist dad met and married my Seventh-day Adventist mom in Ghana, he was already living in France at that time. Later, after getting our papers, my mom joined him. I was born on August 26, 1994, in a city called Grenoble, located in the southeast of France. I have two younger siblings, and we were very close to each other. One of the things I could remember was that my mom and dad would often scream at each other. Sometimes I would go in between them to try and separate them, but they would ask me to leave by pushing me away. One day, after starting year 2, for a few days, I was asked by my teacher to pack my bag because my mama had asked to pick me up earlier. Confused, I obeyed, not knowing that it would be my last time as I yet took pupil in this school. When I asked my mom what was happening, she finally broke a silence by saying, "We are leaving, you, your brothers, and me." At that point, I was really confused, so I asked, "What about Dad?" But once again, she remained silent while she was packing some luggage. I was scared. When my mom was not paying attention to me, I took a piece of paper, a pen, and hid them. When we were about to leave, I put the paper in my dad's bedroom, telling him, "Dad, we are living with Mom for some time, but don't worry, we will be back. We love you and eat well." We moved to a social housing. We were living with other families that would come and live. My dad will come and visit us, although I could not really understand at that time why we could not live all together like before. During the same year, as it was easier for my mom to fit a work schedule around my little brother's nursery timetable, I would often stay over at my friend's family house. So, when I was asked if it would be okay for me to live with them for some time, as their daughter was in the same school as me, I could go with her. I did not complain, I was happy. As we were minors, it was my friend's auntie, whom I believe was in her 20s, who looked after us when the parents were not home. It was her that introduced me to sexual abuse and left permanent scars on me. Yet, I never said anything to my parents at that time. At the end of the academic year, we went back to where we used to live as a family. The court had given custody to my dad. We were able to see our mom on weekends and holidays. Later, Mom moved to UK. Thankfully, we were still able to see her by spending a summer vacation with her in England. There were times when I thought to tell my dad what happened to me in a friend's house. But when I was able to reveal everything, I could not talk. There was like a bull of fear in my throat. I started thinking, what if Dad gets angry at Mom? And what if he tells everybody? And what if he calls the police and my brothers will never be able to see Mom again? Because my testimony should be on how I started working with Christ, I had to jump forward in time to the year 2013. But to describe briefly, in between that gap, I was struggling with identity. I was a Seventh-day Adventist, going to church every Sabbath. and participating in the youth activities, but never felt like I belonged within the church or anywhere else. I was always living with the feeling of being inadequate or never good enough. I am French, but look different. Of Ghanaian descent, but do not talk or behave like one. There will always be a problem either in the way I talk, or sing, or walk, or behave. It came to the point where I would be asking God why you have put me on this earth if it was to be a clone for other people. So why 2013? I believe it is the year when things started to change. I was aged 19 and preparing my A-levels. I got extremely sick. As it started as a simple cold. A month later, the cold became a pneumonia. I didn't know it was that bad. I would be quite fine during the day and able to go to school, but would become a total mess during the night. Then a month later, the condition worsened and tapped my digestive system. At that point, I couldn't digest much. I think I had lost 7 to 10 kilos in 2-3 weeks. Thankfully, I was able to pass my final exams and move to higher education, but it was on my first day in front of the establishment that I realized that what I had gone through the previous year not only affected my physical health, but also my mental and emotional health. I was just petrified. I refused to go, and that's when the war started with my parents. 7 months later, seeing that I was getting nowhere with my studies, my mom suggested that I should spend some time in England. I came to England in April 2014 and decided to stay longer. I learned a bit of English and got to know good people with whom I did not see, heard, nor feel that I needed to be more, which helped to regain a bit of the confidence that was lost. In the meantime, I would go to Seventh-day Adventist Ghanaian church. I would not understand anything and was not really interested nor motivated to learn the language either, so that I could understand. For some, Monday will be the worst day of the week. Mine was on Saturday. One Sabbath evening, there was a special evening program. At the end of the program, the pastor made a call for those who would wish to get baptized to come to the front. I looked at him and wondered, should I go? But I don't feel like I'm called to get baptized, so why bother? An auntie seated next to me. In the Ghanaian culture, we call everybody auntie or uncle or brother, sister, was seated next to me. And she started giving me reason as to why I should get baptized. It seemed like an eternity. When the pastor was about to pray before calling the people forward, we closed our eyes, but she would continue to talk to me. My mom, who was next to us, would keep saying shh, shh. After the prayer, the auntie would still be talking to me, gently tapping my shoulder and pushing my shoulder. I tried to negotiate and explain that I was not ready and would do it another time, but it did not work. So I stood up and went to the front. A few weeks later, I was giving English baptismal classes. When I was asked the reason as to why I wanted to get baptized, I replied, I'm not really sure, I just got pushed, but I'm willing to give it a try. A year later, on November 28, 2015, I got baptized at Newbold Church by Pastor Daddy. He did not push me at going by myself. In between then and now, many things happened. Times when I wanted to show off the faith I had in God, but also time where I had to learn the hard way that faith attached to wisdom was even better. Although sometimes really embarrassing, these crossroads taught me certain things. The first one, people are spiritually starved, hungry to know more about Christ and of the experience we have and the light we bear as Christians. It even applies to the people who say they have it all, they need help. Second one, some people come in our lives as blessings, some come in your life as lessons. Mother Teresa. I believe it to be true, but God has been really good to me and blessed me abundantly by having my path crossed by people who were both a fountain of blessings and a source of lessons. I am learning to see beyond my failures and also to develop an interest to serve in the church. Actually, the first time we received a message from Pastor Marcel to serve in the early service, my brothers went to the hairdresser and Mama was braiding my hair. So we laughed about it, saying that God wanted us to look smart. Later on, I even told my brothers that we should call Pastor Marcel no more Pastor Marcel, but it's instead either Pastor Passion, because whether you read, laugh, or cry, you have to do it with passion. Or either spiritual MG, because the G in English is called J in French. I just thought that both of them sounded cool and prayed that he would not be there when I will be sharing them in my testimony. Healing, third point. When I felt overwhelmed by the shame of the past, the weariness of present failures, and uncertainties of what the future would bring, the only thoughts that would cross my mind were that I would be better off asleep. Thankfully, God spoke to me on one Sabbath day through Psalm 50 by describing himself as El Roi, the God who sees me, and a God of justice. Later that day, I happened to watch a movie called We Are Stronger, which described the journey towards the healing of a military veteran battling with post-traumatic syndrome disorder, PTSD. It was what the protagonist, counselor, said that caught my intention. Pain shared is pain divided. The big part of healing is telling your story. I am thankful for the opportunity that is given to each one of us, including myself, to be able to deepen our relationship with God and also with our family in Christ by sharing, for example, this story that He may be glorified. Amen.
Thank you, Victoria. I knew that something would come out from your story, and like all stories that are shared in here, you said that all the stories that we share is also a way of healing, but I would add is also a way of growing, not for the person who shares it, but also for the person who hears it, because I actually got to understand more some people that I didn't know before. So I think this way is always a way for us growing, not only spiritually, personally, but within each other as a church. Because sometimes I was the person that a few years ago I just come to the church and head off and barely spoke with anyone. But there was a person called Seka, I don't know if you know her, and she just kind of dragged me into these church activities. And suddenly I was having more communication with people, and actually I felt more motivated to share the word, even in my workplace. So if you are like that at the moment, what I would just suggest, just speak with one person, because that one person can actually make you grow spiritually, but help you to develop other skills that you might have, just that God is waiting for you to show. So with this in mind, I just want to invite you all to go and split into our classes, some to share the Scouts.